You aren't going to get the revenue numbers by just taxing the rich. The only way a tax increase will generate revenues is to go after the middle class. That's where the numbers are. These people are being misled. The problem is when you go after the middle class, you begin to attack the backbone of the economy, and we will have a bad recession.
All right, Ken Langone saying earlier today that he doesn't think going after rich guys like himself alone, as Joe Biden promises to do, will yield anywhere near the amount of money that Joe Biden wants, and it will not help the economy either. Scott Martin back with us. I hope we fixed our technical issues. I apologize for that, Scott, but what do you think of what Langone was saying there? You can be searching for revenues all you want, but you're not going to get it exclusively from the rich.
Yeah. Two words he used, Neil: backbone and attack. Attack certainly being one that doesn't sound good in this global pandemic environment where the economy is, yes, coming back, but certainly hurting to fully recover. And backbone, middle class being the backbone, yes. But in Illinois, my goodness, you know, they're going after high income earners. They're going after small business owners here, Neil, and those are your spenders. I mean, those are your people that go out and spend on big ticket items. Those are the ones that, by the way, created a lot of the jobs in the state here. And so to have that going on alongside what we think is going to be a difficult, say, winter, certainly for a lot of the markets and economy, seems questionable to me.
You know, I wonder if I could pick your brain on this, Scott. It was a Market Watch article, but they write a lot of interesting stuff that goes sort of outside the traditional views of the market and base some of the contraction we've been seeing on these contracting polls. In other words, the Biden lead narrowing, not expressing a political preference for either Biden or the president, but that it adds to the uncertainty that this won't be resolved election night. And markets have more uncertainty, that the tighter the polls get, the more likely it is this drags on for a while. It's, you know, an interesting premise, but what do you make of that?
I think the market's actually counting on it. And it's actually, maybe that is the certainty, Neil, is that it's going to be uncertain. And maybe the market might be even disappointed we get a reaction or a result right away. I believe the market's expecting things to be drawn out. And so to me, as the market gets more information, as we get closer to that fateful day, depending on how you look at it, November 3rd, the market is beginning to take in, I think, some of that information better and better. So what actually happens with respect to the chaos on November 3rd and going forward may not affect the market as much because the market's already factored it in.
You know, Goldman Sachs might have been one of the buoyant spirits on this, saying that, you know, with Joe Biden, you're going to get a lot of spending. It's going to wreck deficits, as if they're not wrecked already, but it's going to be stimulative. And you know, that could be a constructive economic development. Many disagree with that, by the way. But what do you make of that?
I agree with it. I think both parties seem to be wanting to spend, especially coming out of a difficult economic situation, which I think is good. The question is, what money are they going to spend? Are they going to borrow and finance that deficit spending on the government's dime in the case of, say, some of the Republicans and, say, cut taxes and cut regulations, Neil? Or in the cases what we're seeing locally here in Illinois with the state tax being proposed to being run up and being at a graduated rate. The mayor here just came out with a new proposal because we got $1 billion budget deficit in the city of Chicago, more tax hikes for property tax owners and certainly property owners with tax hikes and gas taxes. So the question becomes, does the government spend, say, more of its own money, or does it spend more of your money as the income earner, as the small business owner, and say, we know what's better to do with your money, Mr. Taxpayer or Mrs. Taxpayer or Mrs. Business Owner, versus what you know what to do with it? And that, to me, is the scary thing. It's one way or the other, and I believe voters will eventually make their call on that, hopefully sooner than later.
All right, Scott Martin, thank you very much. Good catching up with you. Real quickly, I know Charlie Gasparino has some other stories to pursue here.